Hello my dear Stitchy friends, my name is Marie and this is the Stitches and Diamonds Flosstube channel. You can also find me on Instagram under Stitches and Diamonds. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a hot minute and then some. I have been focusing on creating a retreat lately, so I have been away for 3 months, over 3 months. I can't believe that it's been that long. So thank you so much for tuning in again after such a long time. And I've got a lot to update you on. A lot to update you on. And I'm also a little bit out of practice. So I hope that you will forgive all the mishaps that are about to happen in the next 5 hours. Well, I am joking about the 5 hours, but I do have to say that based on the prep that I've done for this video, it will be a little bit longer. So what I'm going to say is we are going to be talking about Stitch in London retreat primarily this episode. The first part will be a recap from as an organizer point of view. I will tell you exactly what happened, who was there, new Flosstubers, new designers that I met, you know, things like that. And the second part will be me as a participant, because I got to sit at a stitchy table, I got to do a bit of stitching, I got to do some shopping, I was given a lot of things. So I've got that all to show you. Hi, this is Marie from 2.5 hours later. And this is just to say that I will publish my sort of stitchers, like an attendee of the retreat sort of point of view at a later date in about 2 days time as a Flosstube. I will show you my haul, my stitching. I will show you all the things that I've acquired there, but it will not be in this video. So this video will be purely about the retreat, about the recap of the retreat, as in what happened, who was there, who were the designers, who were the people and everything, and also plans for next year's retreat. So if you're interested just in stitching and haul, please stay tuned for a second episode of Stitch in London that will be released in a few days time max. So my last update here on YouTube was published 26th of July 2022. I absolutely cannot believe that it's been over 3 months since last time I've spoken to you. So many things happened in between that. You know, I'm from Czech Republic, so my family lives over there. So we've had my family, namely my brother and sister-in-law and their daughter, visit twice. They visited us here in Barry, and we also did a weekend in London, which was amazing. We also, me and my husband and our lovely Hungarian visitor Luna, took a drive to Czech Republic beginning of September for 2 weeks. We haven't seen the family since November last year. You know how travel gets these days. So it's been absolutely wonderful. We've had lovely summer slash beginning of autumn spent with family, and it has been wonderfully recharging and invigorating, and it's been just absolutely lovely. So life has been very busy in that respect. We have also, while we were in Czech Republic, our beloved Queen has passed away, which was just so terrible. And then obviously we had her funeral and we came back. It was planned. We didn't change our plans because of that, but we came back and were able to watch the whole funeral here on BBC back in the UK. That was a very, very sad time, I'm sure, for many of us. I I am pretty certain I'm not the only one who has felt as if my grandparent has passed away. So I've lost my grandparents in beginning of 90s. My dad's parents passed away, and then 2010 2011 my mum's parents passed away. So I have been without a grandparent for quite a significant amount of time, but I kept on, you know, looking at the Queen, and I felt like this grandmotherly presence from her. She always knew what to say. She always said that the right thing that would calm you down and that would mean something. And losing her was really just very sad. And I am quite certain that a lot of people were affected by it more than they thought they would ever be, including myself. So that was beginning slash mid-September. And then the rest, sort of from mid-September until mid-October, was just purely dedicated to preparation of a Stitch in London retreat, as well as my day job. My day job, as you know, as it would, some deadlines were pushed forward, so I've had some new deadlines to finish just before the retreat. There was a new program open that opens just once a year, and I really wanted to, you know, sort of give it a try. So I have had to finish like a first round before Stitch in London, and then all the organization with Stitch in London. So it has been interesting couple of weeks running up to the retreat. It has been extremely busy, but you know, we survived. It's all good. Everything is, you know, has gone smoothly so far. And then in the past 2 weeks since the Stitch in London, I have unfortunately been really quite poorly, not camera ready at all. So believe me, it was a favor to everybody who would ever watch this video to wait sufficiently a long time to show my face on the video, because it has been a bit challenging. I am sorry, I still get some cutting episodes and, you know, whatever you, but there will be quite some cuts in this video, quite some edits, but I hope it's not going to disturb your viewing pleasure. I also have this cup of coffee, which is only second cup of coffee since 19th of October. So if at any point I seem to you like I am on recreational drugs, it's not it. It's just the effect of coffee after almost 2 weeks. So now, Stitch in London. So I thought I'd run you through what happened on Stitch in London, what, you know, talk about the venue, talk about the stitching room. I would talk about the program. I would talk about who was there, all the Flosstubers, all the designers, the vendors, people who very kindly donated to the giveaway portion of the program, even though they weren't there personally. And then, like I said, towards the end of the video, I'm going to sort of share my personal experience of the retreat and show you some stitching and lots of things. Let's get on with it then. So in July 2022, I have published a video here on Flosstube announcing that I am taking the big step, and I'm organizing a cross-stitch retreat called Stitch in London, which was set to take place between 14th and 16th of October in the Holiday Inn Hotel in Watford Junction. I have decided to call that retreat Stitch in London, although geographically perhaps not entirely correct. However, technically and definitely transport-wise, it is by all means London, or as close as London as you can be. Watford Junction is on a direct line train from Euston, and it also has a tube stop and overground stop, so the transport connection is amazing. And it turns out that in terms of going there by car, it was also really great, because there was ample parking on site, and it was only a short drive off the motorway, so you didn't have to get lost somewhere in London and big roundabouts and whatever you. It was really quite a smooth, nice journey, especially from the north, from the Midlands, and for us from South Wales as well. The retreat was organized by myself, so any organizational mishaps would be entirely my fault. But on those 3 days, my husband went with me, and he was helping me with absolutely everything and anything. He was absolutely amazing, and I was very grateful to everybody who has sort of accepted him as well, although he's not a stitcher yet. Watch that space. I am working my magic as much as I can to try to to try to make him make that decision and grab the needle and thread. It has not happened so far, but who knows what's going to happen until the next year. Before I say anything further, I wanted to just say a massive thank you to everybody who has who came, who went to Stitch in London retreat, and who made it happen. As I said at the retreat, I may have organised a thing or two, or booked a thing or two, which was an undertaking by all means, but it would have never meant anything, and it would have never happened if there were not a sufficient number of people who decided to trust this internet person who they've never met before, apart from one other person in the room, and apart from my husband. The other person in the room was Cassie, who is my lovely Barry Stitchy friend. So you know, an incredible amount of people decided to trust me with their money, with their time, you know, with their presence. And they came and they made Stitch in London retreat into what it was. And what it was just an amazing 3 days spent with people who were ever so lovely. Everybody was just so nice, and there wasn't any sort of awkward situation or anything. It was just, everything was just perfect. I don't know how else to say it. Everybody who came on Friday was a little bit nervous and anxious, and you know, all of us, no matter how sort of extroverted some people may seem, everybody who arrived there on that Friday was feeling apprehensive without a shadow of a doubt. But everybody has made it so easy and lovely for each other. And soon, you know, without even knowing it, the room was buzzing with laughter and conversation, and it was filled with beautiful projects and just amazing people from all over the country and all over the world. And it was just beyond amazing. So I want to say the biggest thank you to those 55 people who did make Stitch in London happen. You will forever be the founding members of Stitch in London Retreat, and I will forever be grateful to you for taking that leap of faith and for making Stitch in London 2022 into what it was. Now, let me talk a little bit about the venue and the stitching room now. So the venue was a Holiday Inn hotel. The conference room where Stitch in London was in on the ground floor, through the sort of breakfast and restaurant area, was a whole conference room that you entered, and there was I think around 8 tables that were ready for us, of either 7 or 8 people at a time. The stitching room had really massive windows. They were like sort of sliding doors, some of them, that would be leading to a terrace, and they provided a lot of natural light. And there were also, I think, rather good lights on the ceiling. There were like sort of downlights, and then there were sort of squares of sort of illuminated type of lights. So I felt like, with the exception of few areas in the room where the light was a little bit poorer, I think that overall the light was really good. I have been able to, I did not stitch much, I have to say that, but I have been able to stitch on 40 count without any additional light. And 32 count was absolutely without any issue whatsoever. So that was really quite good. And then as you sort of walked in, the door was on the very far end, on the sort of right hand of the whole area. And then as you walked in, the area sort of opened up in front of you. All the tables were there, and along this side we had tables running. And that table sort of changed function a little bit throughout the retreat, depending on what we needed, but they were either the registration kit table, or a brag table, or a freebie table, or a vendor table, or a smalls exchange table. So those were sort of running along in sort of L shape around the right hand side, just as you entered, along the sort of wall, and a piece of the French doors, the sliding doors. Everybody who entered on Friday, the opening time was 10 a.m. Everybody who entered on Friday was registered. So we had a list of participants. Everybody had a participant number that was unique to them specifically. And everybody was given a personalized bag. And in that bag, we had the following. There was a welcome to Stitch in London information pack with all sorts of, important information, program times, the opening times of the stitching room, which were until 11 p.m. On Friday it was from 10 a.m. On Saturday it was from 7 a.m. and on Sunday it was from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. There was some information about raffle and giveaway, which I will share with you later. Then it was the stitching room info, something like about multipliers and sockets, and that it's okay to mount your stitching on the table and things like that. And then some food available at the hotel. So it was information about breakfast and dinner at the hotel, lunch, and where in the area can you get something to eat, and also, what apps can you download to get something to eat as well. So that was sort of to help anybody who was not familiar with the area or the hotel to feel a little bit more comfortable with the organizational sort of side of things. Then we had 2 charts. Those charts were absolutely amazing, and they were created and provided by 2 amazing participants of the retreat. The first one was an official chart of a Stitch in London. I'm going to show it quickly on on camera. I'm sure nobody will be able to get a high-res copy of me showing this. I have asked people not to share partial or full chart on social media, because it's the designer was Yas, the amazing Yas from Yasmin's Made with Love. So I just wanted to protect Yaz's copyright, because I know she's worked very hard on making the chart happen. So I just sort of asked people not to share some, you know, easily recreatable or easily sort of visible parts of the chart on social media. So that's why people are sort of not sharing the chart too much. But I've got a finished chart right here. I think Yaz has done a wonderful, amazing job creating this chart. It's a wonderful commemorative piece of Stitch in London 2022, and I am ever so grateful to Yaz for creating this. It's wonderful. She is absolutely amazing. So Yaz is not yet creating charts for sale, but yes, please, like please, I have told you about gazillion times at the retreat, but I would love to stitch more from you, because stitching this was just such a breeze. It was so pleasant, it was lovely to stitch this, and I just really enjoy the elements of this, particularly the spools. I just absolutely love it. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. I have stitched this on 40 count vintage country mocha, so everybody got a vintage country mocha from Zweigart to stitch on, and everybody got a choice of what count would they prefer. So we had some 14 count Adas, 28 count linen, 32 count linen, and 40 count linen. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my hands on 36 count linen. Zweigart was completely out of stock, and anybody else in the UK was also out of stock. So I couldn't have included 36 count, which I'm sure would have been quite a preferred count for a lot of people. But nevertheless, you know, there was a huge sort of varied range of counts across the attendees, and everybody got in their personalized bag exactly the count that they have chosen. I have also provided in the pack a sort of everything that people would need to fully finish, and everybody could choose whether they would like a cushion or a flat finish. It's not a flat fold, it's a flat finish. So the cushion, I'm going to show, not obviously I haven't finished Stitch in London yet, but this is the sort of cushion that people would be able to make from it. So there was a rickrack also included, which is not on this particular cushion, but there was a rickrack. There was this sort of tartan type of, you know, British British pattern of a fabric, or I don't know how else to call it. There was stuffing, there was interfacing, and I think that's it. So people were able to finish it into a cushion, and those who have chosen a flat finish would be able to create something like this. So there were two pieces of cardboard, there was a piece of felt to put under the carton, under, you know, in between the bottom cardboard and the stitching. There was a pom-pom trim, and there was a backing fabric, exactly the same tartan to go with that. This is not a fold, this is sort of glued together. I'm going to put a tutorial that I made for Caterpillar Cross Stitch precisely for this flat finish, so just in case anybody would like to know how to finish this, I'm going to link it down below. This particular finish is not, I haven't finished the back because I have it displayed on an easel, so I didn't feel the need to sort of fully finish it. But if you wanted, you could put a piece of matching fabric on the back, or any sort of fabric, or you could further attach this whole flat finish onto say a wooden background, or onto some sort of tray or a board, or maybe even a frame. You could sort of glue it into a frame as opposed to mounting it into a frame, which is a finish I've seen as well. There wouldn't be quite enough fabric for a flat fold finish. What I did is I gave enough cardboard, like a generous amount of cardboard, so that everybody can leave it as large or cut it down to as small as they would feel comfortable with. So those are the two possible finishes that people were given, and it was to their preference. Everybody was contacted ahead of the retreat and shared with me their fabric count and type preference and the finish preference. So once again, a major massive thank you to Yas at Yasmin's Made with Love, an amazing floss tuber, and as we see, an up-and-coming designer. You know, thank you so much, Yas, for providing this for the retreat. I am so very grateful to you. There was also a second chart included in the welcome pack, and that was this Stitch in London. I haven't stitched mine yet, so I don't have quite the physical product, but you will see it later on when I show you the brag table. This was created by the wonderful Ross at Ross Clark Craft. Ross has been absolutely amazing. She just contacted me and said, I would like to provide a freebie chart for everybody at the retreat, and I couldn't have said yes fast enough. I was so grateful for her offer, and the cushion that she's created is just absolutely beautiful, I think, and it says Stitch in London 2022. I cannot wait to start stitching on mine. Honestly, I can't. I think I'm going to have a new start this week. I will speak more about Ross a little bit later as well. Then, as part of the registration pack, everybody got this one is my husband's. Everybody got like a name tag that, you know, so that we know our names. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a wardrobe malfunction. Turns out that they always, no matter how you turned it, they always turned the wrong way around. So it is an area for improvement for next year to create a name tags that will be not turning with the blank side out. Everybody everybody who shared it with me had their Instagram and a website perhaps, and YouTube channel or whatever they wanted to share, or an Etsy shop name. You know, whoever shared it with me, it was included on this, just to make it a little bit easier to network and to meet with people. And you know, sometimes people tell you their Instagram name or something and you're not quite sure about the spelling and whatever you, so people could have just shown their badge, and you know, people could have taken a picture or a note of it. So I hope it made it a little bit easier to just network a little bit at the event itself. There was also a handwritten note included from me to every participant of the retreat to just say thank you for being here and hoping that everybody will have a good time, which I hope actually came true. And there was also a raffle ticket pack. Everybody got 6 entry raffle tickets and a special participant ticket for you know, separate part of the giveaway portion, which I'm going to be talking about later. And there was also just a couple of sweets, but there definitely was more than enough sweets everywhere. There was sweets everywhere at one point. Now, as to the hotel itself, I am going to include a photo of a hotel room that looked exactly like ours. It was the Queen Bed standard room. It The mattresses were super comfortable. It was really, we only went to sleep in there really, so I didn't care about the room, but it was very clean. The mattress was very comfortable. The bedding was very sort of nice and soft, and there was like a softer pillow and a harder pillow. This hotel standard. There were tea and coffee facilities, as is probably in every British hotel. So there's a kettle and anything you need to make a tea or coffee. There was a safe for any valuables that you might want to use it for. There were branded Dove toiletries in the bathroom, which I thought was a really nice touch. There was a shower gel, a shampoo and a conditioner. Everything was sparkling clean. Everything was really sort of, it felt really clean and nice. The breakfast was very nice, I thought. Everything you want from full English and continental breakfast. There were all sorts of milks that were very accessible, plant-based milks, for anybody who that is important for them. There was a wonderful pastry section. Everything was, I think, great in the hotel. And then when we were in the stitching room, as I said, it was near the breakfast area, which means that the breakfast, coffee and tea station was also our coffee and tea station during the day, because there was an unlimited amount of coffee and tea available during the event. The conference room also came with a still and sparkling water, sort of replenished throughout the day. Usually on request, like they wouldn't sort of proactively come and walk in between us, maybe more like in the evening, just to clear out any dirty glasses or something like that. But we were really left undisturbed, may I say. And then the conference room also included a 11 a.m. croissant and pain au chocolat and pain au raisin break, and a 3 p.m. chocolate and blueberry muffins break. So that was fabulous. I have to fully admit that I wasn't aware of this. It wasn't written anywhere in the contract. I think the reservations manager lady sort of thought that, you know, I would just know, and I didn't just know. So when on Friday morning I was asked by the restaurant shift manager when would I like the croissant and the muffin break, it was a wonderful surprise, and I think everybody was pleasantly surprised. There was something for everyone, and it was made to a very, very lovely standard. You know, everything tasted really nice, and I think that was really great. It just worked really well. There was also an all-day bar open by the breakfast area, so very short walk from the conference room, and there was a Starbucks coffee available for anybody who didn't want the machine coffee, and there were sort of all-day sandwiches, because on the weekend the hotel does not have a lunch service. So in terms of hotel restaurant, there was only breakfast and dinner available. So for anybody who wanted lunch, there was actually a, you know, sandwich bar available there as well. I had sandwich one of the days, and it tasted absolutely fine. However, with the croissant and the muffin breaks, I think many people, especially those who had hotel breakfast, found that they don't really need to have lunch as well. So we ended up having lunch, we ended up having breakfast, then croissant or muffin, and then dinner in the evening. The dinner I found was reasonably priced. It was anywhere from, I don't know, 10 to 15 pounds for a meal. I thought it was just absolutely fine. Of course, there were more expensive and there were less expensive options. but the average was sort of between 10 and 15 pounds. And anybody who felt like a walk or, you know, wanted something a little bit different, there was a high street that was around about maybe 5 minutes walk one direction, with all the chippy shops and restaurants and classic British high street. And on the other side there was a really massive shopping centre with huge Sainsbury's with all the meal deals and everything. And there was also all the Neros and Nando's and anything that, you know, all the chains that would be in a classic British sort of large mall area that you would expect there, including like fast food and everything. So that was about the venue, the hotel, the conference room. And now let me talk about the important things, like who was there, what happened, well, you know, what was happening. So I'm gonna tell you about Flosstubers, designers, vendors, and some amazing people who donated to the raffle table. So starting with Flosstubers, in no particular order, I just sort of remembered where everybody was sitting and then I just took it around the room, around the tables. A lot of these Flosstubers have an episode out about the retreat. So if you would like to hear more about the retreat from people who are not me and, you know, who are amazing in how they have describe the event and can maybe give you a little bit more of that retreat buzz. If you like listening about retreats, I invite you wholeheartedly to visit their channels and listen to their recaps of Stitch in London. I will make sure to tag all of them in the description down below. So we've had Kristy from Crafting Kerri. Kerri said at my table, I've had the pleasure of getting to know her there. She's absolutely wonderful, amazing projects, and I have her Flosstube channel to catch up with on the top of my list of priorities, because she was just wonderful. You know, very witty, lovely, pleasant just person, and I really enjoyed her projects. So Crafting Kerri. Then we had Yas from Yasmin's Made in Love. Sorry, I constantly say Made in Love. Made with Love. Yas is one and only Yas. She is lovely, approachable, so hilarious. Like I would die for her sense of humor. Like, she's so funny and a little bit sarcastic, and, you know, just the dry sense of humor that I just absolutely love. And she always has something funny to say about her home, or, you know, but she's just absolutely wonderful, lovely person. I mean, you're gonna hear me saying that about a lot of people, but I mean it about everybody who I say it about, because it's been just a wonderful bunch of people. So yes, it's been lovely meeting you. If anybody here doesn't know Yas yet, I would wholeheartedly recommend watching her channel. She has also recently become a YouTube presenter, so we're like YouTube presenter twins. I am presenting for Get a Girl Cross Stitch, and Yas has started creating wonderful tutorial videos for Meloka Designs. I think she's got 3 or 4 videos out so far, and she's focusing on like practical, you know, fully finished sort of tutorials. So it's wonderful. I would highly recommend it. Then we've had the lovely sweet Natalia from Crafting with Natalia. Natalia is an absolute sweetheart. Her laughter is literally infectious. You know, the moment she starts to giggle, I just want to smile. Like, she's such a lovely, positive person. It's been absolutely amazing meeting her, and I always enjoy her Flosstube episodes. They're just lovely. They're just lovely. Then there was Ross. I've already mentioned Ross. Ross has created the freebie cushion for the retreat, the small pillow. Ross is the first person who has released the Stitch in London recap. I thought it was fantastic. It was such a good description of what happened, and Ross is such a talented designer as well. More on that later. And I'm really enjoying Ross's Flosstube, and she also has such an infectious laugh. Like she wasn't sitting at my table, but you know, when I heard her laugh, I had to start giggling myself. Like she's just such a personality, so wonderful. Lovely meeting her. I highly recommend her channel. Then we had, like, oh my god, when the following people signed up, I like fell off the chair probably when I saw their name on the sign up list. I couldn't quite believe it. So we've had Caroline, the Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts here on Flosstube, but the owner of Evertoad shop in the not in the US, sorry, in Canada. Really bad. In Canada, of course I know that, near Toronto, small London, near Toronto. And you might know her because she works very closely with two amazing people. Kerri, who was at the retreat. Kerri is the dyer and owner and brains behind the Leo and Roxy Floss company. The amazing hand-dyed floss and fabrics. And Kerri was at the retreat. It was absolutely amazing meeting her. It was wonderful. And they both work very closely with Jacob, who was not at the retreat. Although I would die if he was there, of course. He was not at the retreat, but it's the one and only Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. So Evertoad have been working very closely with him. He's been creating charts with recommended sort of Leo and Roxy floss, and you know, they are wonderful. They work together and create such amazing things. And Kerri and Caroline have recently released their own sort of duo Flosstube. It's called Between Two Webs, and it is part of the Evertoads Flosstube channel. It used to be I think a Flosstube channel mainly to update people about the Evertoad shop updates, you know, what's new in the shop, what's new on the website, new products and what have you. But now, as part of this channel, there's also a Flosstube where both Kerri and Caroline are, you know, on the same video, and I just love sort of couple Flosstubes. I love the dynamics between two people. It's usually really quite funny, and it is, you know, it is just a lovely energy. I've been thoroughly enjoying the episodes they have released so far. I think there have been 3, and one of them, the latest one, also is about the Stitch in London retreat, and about, you know, their experience in London, and it was lovely. So please do go over and check them out as well. They also let us see a little bit of their creative process, because they have started excuse me, they have started converting a lot of charts that haven't been charted for Leo and Roxy. They have started converting them into Leo and Roxy conversions, and it's just wonderful hearing about the process, seeing the charts that they are working on, and you know, overall absolutely wonderful. What I'd like to say to British folks is that the Evertoad do ship to the UK. Last time I ordered, it cost me 14 Canadian dollars. I don't know quite how much it is in British pounds, but I'm going to put it right here. I think the shipping is really reasonable, and I would just like to highlight that as long as you stay below 135 pounds in the value of an order including shipping, you will not pay any VAT or customs as the customer receiving it here in the UK. So that is just for people if you were at the retreat, or if you are not and you just would love to try the Leo and Roxy floss or any of their other wonderful amazing products. It really is affordable to ship to the UK, and Caroline also provides tracking. It is via courier company. I don't remember that name, but I know I remember I could track my order, so I knew exactly where it was, and there was no hiccup whatsoever. And it was a very smooth process of ordering, so I can highly recommend it. The next amazing person sitting at the same table with Kerri and Caroline was Lori. Lori from My Crazy Life, also a big YouTube channel. Lori is based in the US. She's a wonderful stitcher, and she also has like lots of haul videos and like Dollar Tree and things like that. So for me, as a person based in the UK, I love these videos because then I can, sort of see how the American stores look like or what the products are there. And Laurie was just lovely. She was lovely to talk to. She's very nice, just like Kerri and Caroline. It was a lovely bunch of people, everybody who was at the retreat basically. And on Saturday and Sunday, we also had Michelle from Mama Loves You GB. Michelle was absolutely amazing. It was just lovely getting to meet her in person. Michelle has also released an episode about Stitch in London last Sunday, it must have been. So go and watch if you're interested. Michelle is a teacher and a very accomplished stitcher, and she has put the retreat in very concisely and very beautiful words. And I very much enjoyed her recap of the events. So any of these people, I would highly recommend watching them. Not obviously at all just for Stitch in London retreat content, but for all the other content, which is incredibly interesting. And they all have got lovely personalities, and it shines through the display of our phones or TVs when they have their YouTube episodes on. So I highly recommend checking all of them out. Now let's talk about designers, because there were so many. So much talent in that room, you would not believe. It was amazing. It was fantastic. Some of them were selling their design at the retreat. Some of them are also established designers, but will hopefully be selling next year. But their designs are available on Etsy, and I will mention all of them just in a second. Some of them have not yet launched their designer business, but I very much hope they will, because there were just so many talented people there, honestly. So let's first talk about the people who are not yet selling their designs. So as I said, the first one would be Yas from Yasmin's Made with Love, and her Stitch in London exclusive chart that she created for the retreat. I very much hope that Yas will consider opening her own designer shop, because it's been lovely to stitch. And there was also Susan Blunden. So Susan has brought 2 framed pieces to the brag table, and I could not believe my eyes. Like, one was a reproduction that Susan made herself, and one was a birthday sampler for her daughter's 30th, I believe, and that was an original work of Susan, and I genuinely hope that Susan decides to make her designs available because they are wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I particularly enjoyed on the birthday sampler the writing that was in half stitches, so it sort of made it look like you know, italic, like cursive. I don't know how you call it, you know, correctly in English, but it was it was just really nice, and I really enjoyed seeing her designs. And now let's talk about the designers that were there and that they have their designs available for purchase either on Etsy or other sites. I will mention all of them. So the first, again in no particular order, the first would be Ruthie from Crow's Feet Stitching. It was absolutely lovely meeting Ruthie, and Ruthie was so kind that she gave me this reproduction sampler. It's Mary and Kittle 1853. It is an absolutely lovely reproduction, I believe, and I believe that Ruthie also has made a drum out of this. I think that she made a display. I'm gonna try to insert it here. I do believe that I have taken pictures or photo or videos, and you know, her work was just, I absolutely loved it. I completely loved it. I'm so grateful that Ruthie has contacted me, you know, wanting to sell at the retreat. Her designs were such a perfect addition. Wonderful, wonderful addition to the retreat, and I very much hope to have her at the next retreat again, because she, it was just beautiful, really. When I saw the Deck the Halls also stitched, because Ruthie brought her models, I had to have it. I bought it at the retreat. I have taken off the, I must have taken off the price tag. It was, oh, it was absolutely gorgeous. And you know, watch this space, because I'm definitely going to call a stitch along on this. It is lovely. I think in my next video I am going to be calling a stitch along for this, because I want it. I want to have it in my home, stitched and lovely. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I have linked Ruthie's Etsy shop in the description below. She has got many other beautiful designs. I would wholeheartedly recommend you to check them out. And then at the same table, it was a designer table, Chloe Wood, my lovely, lovely friend Chloe. She is on Instagram as Girl with a Gavel Stitches, and she has relatively recently, I suppose it was this year, launched her website, which I am going to link down below, with a wonderful freebie sampler, a red sampler, little red sampler it's called, that was also stitched at the retreat. And she has also released a reproduction sampler, and I know that she's got about a gazillion of samplers at home, and I am sure that she is going to be in no time a very, very established household name on the British scene of reproduction samplers. She is wonderful. She is so lovely, just ever so lovely. It was so amazing meeting her, and I know I say it about everybody because it's true. And yeah, I would wholeheartedly recommend you check Chloe out, and you sort of keep an eye out, because I think there's, I've said it on my Flosstube before, but I think there's more to come, a lot more to come from Chloe. Another designer at the same table, I have mentioned her already, is Ross. Ross has created the Stitch in London cushion. Ross has also recently opened her Etsy shop, and she has got a couple of Christmas designs, like really nice Christmas small designs. And she also has these sort of two medieval designs. I'm not sure how exactly they're called, but they're like cats and elephants. And she was stitching the model for the elephants at the retreat, and they were hilarious. They're like medieval depiction of elephants that was created by people who have never seen an elephant. So it is wonderful and peculiar, and she has chosen such amazing colors for it, and it just looks like such a fun stitch. So I'm sure there's going to be some stitch along in no time. I'm not sure if that pattern is quite released, but I think if not yet released, then the release will be imminent. Her Etsy is linked in the description below. And then on Sunday, Hannah has joined the table as well, just because somebody left. Not everybody was there all 3 days. That was completely up to people, whatever were their time sort of options. Everybody has bought access to all 3 days, but not everybody was there all 3 days. It's just a little intermezzo. So Hannah Cornish was sitting at this designer table on Sunday, and Hannah has got a Gumroads site that I'm going to link below as well, and she's on Instagram as Hannah Stitching, and she is the person behind the Darwin sampler. And I am going to tell you the Darwin quote, and I'm going to insert the sampler here. But I am very poorly today and very stupid and hate everybody and everything. And I have bought this sampler quite some time ago, unbeknownst to me, that I will actually get to meet the designer at Stitch in London. And I thought, and you know, I thought it came to me at a point where I was feeling really down about the organizational bits of Stitch in London, and I thought it's going to be such a disaster and I'm going to mess up big time. And you know, there were ups and downs, and when there were ups, there were real highs, and when there were downs, there were real downs. And I remember that this design came to me at a point where I was feeling really low, and it has helped me so much actually, because you know, one of the biggest and most amazing scientists in the world, one of the most known people in this whole world, that you know have been wonderful and so clever and so amazing, had days when they felt, you know, stupid and poorly, and you know, like they can't do anything, and they felt miserable and whatever you. And it just has given me a lot of strength. You know, I embraced that fleeting moment of doubt, and I was able to move on. And I will definitely stitch this sampler very soon. I have it in my personal stash. Like I said, I've bought it a couple of months ago, and I cannot wait to start stitching on it. Hannah has recently released also a companion piece, like a beetle, sort of Quaker beetle. Hannah is a zoology curator, I think. She was, you know, amazing, so clever. She has won the quiz of the retreat with such a high score. Like she's just amazing and such a lovely person. So yeah, her Gumroad is down below, and if you love the Darwin sampler as much as I do, I highly recommend you get it there. Then sitting at Caroline's and Kerri's, we call it the North American table, but there were not only North Americans. There was also Susan from the US. Hi, Susan. There was also Lisa from Germany. Hi, Lisa, if you're watching. And there was also Hannah, just a UK stitcher, the only UK stitcher at the table. And there was also Kelly. It was Kerri from Leo and Roxy. There was also Kelly. and Kelly is the brains and designer and creativity behind the Cosford Rice Stitchery. Kelly is originally from the US, but she has been living in the UK for many years now. I love her designs. I have to say that I didn't know about her prior to her signing up for the retreat, but once she did, I favorited her Etsy shop. I have big plans with her patterns. I think they are wonderful, and I have added my first one to my pattern collection. I bought it at the retreat because Kelly was selling at the retreat, and it is the Happy Christmas to All. It was literally the first pattern that I sort of added to favorites from her Etsy shop, and when I saw it there, I just had to have it. I think it's absolutely wonderful, and I think it might be a toss between Deck the Halls and Happy Christmas to All in terms of stitch along, or those stitch or start alongs are going to be following one another very closely. I think they're beautiful. All her designs are just so pretty. Like, she's got a lot of small designs, also a lot of British patriotic designs, and you know, just a seasonal as well. And I just really enjoy her style, the aesthetics of her designs. So I would wholeheartedly recommend that you check her out. I have linked her Etsy down below. And the last designer at the retreat, I hope I have not forgotten anybody because that would be mortifying. But she wasn't selling at the retreat, but she is a well-established designer and a Flosstuber. I've spoken about her already, and it is the one and only Michelle from Mama Loves You GB. Michelle has got a Etsy shop with her reproduction samplers and original designs. The latest one is the bingo card for buttons, like a button collection. And you know, Michelle is just lovely, and I am very much hoping that next year we are going to be adding her designs onto the designer table, which will be very exciting. Now, let me talk about a little about the vendors that were at the retreat. Some of them were there in person, some of them have sent in their products, and we have sold them on their behalf. Which I was very grateful for, because I have only announced the retreat like 3 months before it was happening. Then we didn't know it was going to happen, that we will have enough people until sort of end of August. There was a relatively short window of opportunity to get the vendors in. Not everybody had time on that particular weekend. So I am very grateful to all the vendors that have trusted us with their beautiful products and have sent their products in, and we were able to have a very lovely vendor table at the retreat. And also a huge thank you to those who actually came, who you know, took the time last minute and came in person to be the vendors and to create even more special sort of opportunities at the retreat. So let me just talk you through who was there. So we, or whose products were there. So we, meaning my husband Gunther and I, were there selling on behalf of Ness Craft Room. Ness, you have heard me talk about Ness many a time here on my Flosstube channel. Ness is a wonderful British small business owner. She is creating project bags and she has sent in many project bags, out of which only 3 were left. So I'm going to show you, before I send them back, I'm going to show you how they look. They're beautifully presented, well packed. Like I just love Ness's presentation of the product. It's so clean and so well made, and lots of beautiful details, and I really like her bags. I now have 9, I think. I have 9. And this, so the way Ness does or creates her bags, or what I have so far sort of seen, and I've been following her for about almost a year, I guess. She always creates a unique combination between the outer fabric and the inner fabric. So even though I have seen, and they constantly sort of change, and they all originals, so there are no 2 bags of the same design. She lists her bags on Etsy, and they're always listed just as one original. And in that whole time, I have seen bags that have the same outer fabric, but they will always be matched with a different inner fabric. So they are, for all intents and purposes, they are original, and they are truly, truly wonderful. They were selling for £22 at the retreat, and I was given one as well. And I am going to be showing you that a bit later when I show you my haul from the retreat. And Ness has also extremely kindly donated 5 of her bags for the giveaways and raffles at the retreat, and they were very well received. And I also have to say that there were some very accomplished sort of sewing ladies, and they were buying Ness's bags, saying how well it is made. So, you know, one of the highest compliments that can be given, I guess. So if you haven't yet, I would highly recommend you follow Ness on her Instagram, which I have linked down below, and also her Etsy. She sort of constantly loads new bags, and as I said, they are originals. So whatever is there right now, you know, may be gone in a week, but there will be new stock with new designs coming constantly. So if you go on her Etsy and you don't see something that you maybe particularly like at this very moment, I can tell you that her design range and the pattern range is extremely wide. And if you just follow her shop and look at her shop sort of regularly, I am sure that you will find something that you will absolutely love, because she's not focusing on just one thing. There are floral themes, there are Christmas themes, there are all sorts of different varied themes that are running through her bags. So I don't have anything. I mean, I was given a bag, full disclosure, I was given a bag by Ness, because she's incredibly generous and kind. But also, even if I wasn't, I would shout about Ness's bags everywhere, because they are so very well made, and I am getting to know the person behind the bags, and I think she's absolutely lovely. So I do hope that her business goes very well, and that more and more people discover her. Then there was Laura from Cotton and Clay, not in person, but Laura has very kindly sent a huge selection of her needle minders, and she was so lovely. She prepared such a wonderful selection, and I have got a couple here to show you right now. Laura was selling these at £7 each. I do believe that they are that it was like a retreat exclusive price. Let me just put it that way. Well, let me just show you what we had. So we have this Christmas Christmas flower. I love this one, and it's got like glitter, like golden glitter on it. We've got this. These are all needle minders. We've got this Christmas shoe. I'm not sure if it's gonna be very sharp. Let's just hope so. What did I say? Christmas shoe? Really? So cute. My god, my brain is like flu brain. Then this one, oh my god, I love this combination. It's like a green color. Oh, that looks very much like in reality the color on that I can see on my phone, with like a silver stencil sort of on it, and it's just, oh, I love this needle minder. Then there is this gingerbread man. Oh, he's gorgeous, isn't he? Then there's this Halloweeny hat, also sparkly, absolutely lovely. My favorite pumpkin. Oh, so I quite like golden things and things that are like a little bit muted, maybe like simple almost. And this is the white, and the way the golden color just sort of seeps through gently, and the golden, oh, I absolutely love it. Unfortunately, as I said many a time, I'm not particularly a Halloween stitcher, so I didn't get it because I didn't know like what to pair it with. But what I did get is this beautiful Mr. Fox needle minder, and those who have been following me know that I am stitching Mr. Fox by the Cottage Garden Samplings, and I think that this is a perfect companion needle minder for my in the woods, a year in the woods series that I might finish sometime in 2028. I think he's gorgeous. He's like golden and with a stencil, sort of just black, golden and black, and that's it. Like a dark, maybe not golden. What am I saying? Maybe like copper. Yeah, like metallic copper type of color. Oh, it's just lovely, honestly. So Laura creates this out of clay. The magnet is a good strong magnet, and I would wholeheartedly recommend, sorry, another coughing fit. So Laura creates these, you know, they're obviously handmade, all of them, from clay, from polymer clay, and they have a good strong magnet, and Laura also has another sort of whole range of products, from thread sorters to like scissor fobs, I guess, are they called scissor fobs, then floss drops, and you know, all sorts of like lovely lovely accessories, and a lot of them are in a set, so you can get a whole set of the same thing, and you know, her work is beautifully presented, wonderfully just clean, beautiful, so well presented, and Laura has been so wonderful to talk to, and just a lovely human being. She is on Instagram as Cotton and Clay UK. I will link all her details below, including her Etsy. Yeah, thank you so much, Laura, for sending all of your needle minders in. I am so grateful, and it has been absolutely lovely to also get to see Laura's work. You know, sometimes we just know of somebody's work from social media, but it is a very different thing to be able to see it and hold it and study it a bit, and you know, to appreciate it that much more. And that is exactly what the retreat, I think, is about, in terms of the vendors, that we all get to sometimes know the vendors, or at least their products, and it gives us a whole different picture about what they put in their business, their work, and it's just lovely. So I wholeheartedly recommend Laura's Needle Minders and Other Stitchy Notions. Now, Laura has also donated some needle minders, scissor fobs, thread organizers, floss drops, amazing things for the giveaway and raffle, and many people, I'm sure, are enjoying the products that she has very, very kindly provided for the attendees of the retreat. So thank you so much, Laura. The third and last vendor on whose behalf we were selling was Lauren at Stitchy Bunny Shop. Lauren has provided a variety of products. Unfortunately, I don't have any to show you right now, but I have some pictures that we've taken. Lauren has sent in some mystery sort of offcuts from her fabric dyeing mystery packs for £10. They were gone in like 10 minutes after opening, I think. So they were so you didn't know what was in the bag, but there was an information about that there were like 4 to 6 pieces and the minimum and maximum measurements of those pieces, and you didn't know what color they were going to be. But I'm sure that a lot of us stitchers sort of get the fabric first, and then we figure out what would sit well on the fabric. So there were many people happy to do that, and they were extremely popular. Then Lauren has sent in project bags. There was a variety of themes in there, including like Halloween and all sorts of like cutesy, wintry patterns. It was a variety of patterns of the fabrics, and they were really lovely, well made, and they were very popular at the retreat. Then there were metal bookmarks, so it's one of them bookmarks where you can sort of stitch whatever you want on it, and then you can create a bookmark out of that. And then there was the signature, I think, product of Lauren, and that's a hand-dyed fabric. So there was a variety of Ada and linen, and Lauren is not scared to use like really bold colors, and they looked amazing, and people were really loving these colors. So they were like you know, lime, like a very sort of neon green yellow, and then there were the purples and the pinks, and just really amazing. And if anybody of you follows Lauren, she's got her own Stitchy Bunny Flosstube. She does a lot of memorabilias, and I think that a lot of her fabrics are sort of dyed towards those sort of designs, and they go so well with it. Her fabric was very popular, and I'm again inserting a picture of how the vendor table looked. Sometimes I don't have like a full picture of everything because in the morning we were busy like arranging everything, and then I hesitated in that crucial moment of being able to take a picture before we opened it. And after we've opened, obviously half of the things at least were gone by the time I took another picture. So I'm really sorry. You will just have to come to the next retreat to know the exact extent of things. yeah, so Lauren is selling her products via stitchybunny.co.uk. That is her shop, and she also started carrying a range of patterns, and she has donated a bothy threads kit for the raffle table, and also 2 pieces of her beautiful fabric. So thank you so much, Lauren, and I'm sure everybody has enjoyed Lauren's products at the vendor table as well. Then we had a designer corner. This year we had 2 amazing designers, and I hope that number will only grow in the years to come. And I've already spoken about both, so we've got Ruthie at Crow's Feet Stitching and Kelly at Cosford Rice Stitchery. Then we had Megan from Coffee Craft Fabrics. She arrived in person shortly after 9, and I swear the line for her fabrics was probably all the way to the English breakfast section. Outside of the room, it was her fabric was amazing. It was so popular. It is hand-dyed fabric by her. But just to reassure everybody, I don't feel like there was any sort of disturbance by being that close to the breakfast area, if anybody is concerned. I haven't had any complaints. I have been asking, I have been getting feedback from people, and I don't think that was a problem at all. So if it sounds at any point like it was way too close to the breakfast area, it wasn't like a disturbance at any point. Anyways, so there was a massive queue for Megan's fabrics, and deservedly so, because they are beautiful. Megan is selling her fabrics via Facebook group that is called Coffee Craft Fabrics. It's also linked down below, and I know that she's got a monthly fabric club, so I think you just need to reach out to her, like sort of written. There is no sort of clickable website where you could just add to your cart and buy it, but you can always reach out to Megan, and she will set you up with her monthly fabric club. Megan has also kindly donated a couple of fabric cuts for the giveaway, so thank you so much for that, Megan. And she has also brought some of her needle minders, which are available on her website, ukneedleminders.co.uk. That is it in terms of vendors. As I said, we only had a very small window of sorry, no, that is not in terms of the vendors. I have forgotten to turn around the page, and my brain is very fried at this moment, so I am sorry, Sally. I am apologizing because I would have forgotten to mention Sally at Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Sally was amazing. She arrived sometime around 11 a.m. I think, and she set up a really nice shop. She was selling at retreat exclusive prices, and she was selling lovely things. Particularly her needle minders were flying. They are wonderful, and she was also giving away, I don't know if I've got it here, yes I do, she was giving away this grow your own tree, and I've had one when I got it through the subscription of her subscription box. But what it is, it's like these paper paper sort of thingies, I don't know how to say it. So you plant these in the ground, and they grow, and they grow really beautiful sort of wild flowers. We have planted ours, I think, around June this year, and they're still flowering. Like, they're really nice. So I was like, yeah, can I please have another one? So I'm very grateful for that. And Sally was just so approachable, and I'm sure not only for me but for everybody else, it was really lovely meeting her. She's so easy to chat to, and just a really lovely person to be in in a company of. I haven't met her previously prior to the event. We have obviously met over Zoom, just, you know, as you do in 2022. So we have met over Zoom, and we have spoken before quite a lot, so we know each other, but we just have never met in person. So it was lovely to meet her in person. And Sally has also created lovely stories, and she has put it as a highlight on her Instagram, Caterpillar Cross Stitch. So if anybody would like to head over and to check out her stories, they were really lovely, and I thought they captured the atmosphere of Saturday really well. The Sally has also given some kits, obviously, for giveaway, so that was lovely. Thank you so much, Sally. Thank you for being there. And I would also just like to say that Sally was, I think, the first person outside of my sort of family that I have spoken to about Stitch in London. And it was at a point when I was absolutely riddled with doubt, and I didn't know whether I was gonna go ahead with it, and then the imposter syndrome was so strong and everything. And Sally was so supportive. She was like, yo, you have to do it, and it's gonna be amazing, and you're gonna be amazing, and you just have to do it. And she was so supportive throughout, and you know, supportive even through times when I was so busy with Stitch in London that I couldn't deliver a Caterpillar cross stitch video, which I am, you know, a YouTube presenter. So I am just incredibly grateful to her that she's been this supportive, and she really is that lovely as she seems on the stories. You know, she's just a really easygoing person, and it's an absolute privilege to work with her and to know her. So now those are all vendors that were at the retreat. We are going to be working to get more vendors next year, but we are also going to be working towards sort of assigning just to say, so that we don't have 4 needle minders and no project bags, or 4 project bags and no needle minders. You know what I mean? Like, we will be trying to create categories that will be filled by 1 or maximum 2 vendors. So let's see how that's going to go. But I very much believe that, you know, unlike last year, I mean this year that has just passed, we have really had a very short space of time to secure the vendors. So I am incredibly grateful to those who have managed to send anything in. I know that, you know, I have been talking to more people wanted to bring their things in, bring their products in, but the time frame was just not, you know, it was just not possible for them in the time frame that we had available. And so I am that much more grateful to those who came or who sent their products in. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And next year we will going to be working on bringing even more people. We are going to be working towards getting in some threads, you know, hopefully some hand-dyed threads. We are going to be just working at a broader range of products available for the stitches at the retreat. Let's talk about the program in general. So on Friday, everybody was registered and everybody was given the pack that I was talking about. But Friday was very much about meet and greet and get to know each other and chat and just, you know, get into the flow of stitching. And it was like careful beginnings, and you know, there wasn't much walking around at that point, but that was really because everybody was finding their feet. That was a completely different story on Sunday. So I hope that it was, it sort of felt good, that the Friday was very much in the spirit of get to know your table mates, get to know the hotel, do some stitching, you know, get into the zone. We had some music and as the background. you know, to maybe help with any silence or something like that, but there wasn't much of that at all. So yeah, so that was Friday. Friday wasn't, you know, there wasn't anything expected of anybody apart from just, you know, come and get comfortable and get to know your table mates, and you know, get some stitching and what have you. There were also some people who couldn't make it on Friday. They were there only from Saturday morning onwards. So it was important that they didn't miss out on any of the program. I was asked a number of times whether I could release day tickets, but after, you know, deliberating on that for a very, very long time, I decided that that would not be possible, because I could not just divide the costs of everything basically. You know, how would I divide the cost? How, you know, it's just a one-time fee for all 3 days, for access to stitching room for all 3 days, for one stitching kit, for one welcome pack, and you know, for all the amenities of the hotel, and for access to vendors on all days. And just like I was charged a one-time fee for the whole 3 days, I also was charging one-time fee to all the attendees of the retreat. So that is just to explain that perhaps not everybody was there every day, but there were no day tickets available as such, because it would be extremely difficult to assign a price to a day ticket, because there were certain aspects of the retreat that were simply you know, woven through all 3 days price wise. So that was Friday, and on Saturday was a busy day. Saturday was when all the excitement happened, just to make sure that nobody missed out on anything. So Saturday was at 9 a.m. the vendor tables opened. So it was a busy morning. People were excited about the products. It was all lovely. At 11:30 a.m. it was the famous or infamous quiz. Depends on whether you like challenging quizzes or not. I have sort of presented the quiz with a big disclaimer and trying to assure people that, you know, there might be some frustrating questions, but do not let that frustrate you. There were bonus points and quarter points and half points and 3/4 points to be won all around. So I feel like even people who felt like they didn't do that well, they end up maybe even winning a prize. So I've had to create a little bit of a challenging quiz based on my experience at work. Because there would be a quiz where I would score 2.5 points as my personal best. I suck at quizzes. And there would be 2 people that would score 19 and 20 points. Like, you know, there simply are people who are that knowledgeable and are that clever. And I didn't have enough prizes to give away to 30 people. So what I did was to make it challenging, to make sure that I do have that staggered first, second, third, fourth, 5, 6, etc., etc. Places, and people did extremely well actually. So the maximum points to be won were 24, and the winner of the 3 first places were 20.25 points, 19 points, and 18.75 points respectively. So that just shows you how competitive that room was. So it was amazing. And I wanted to say that if you by any chance wanted to try your luck at the quiz, try your general knowledge, let me know. I'm happy to release it as a sort of Flosstube special video, with results shared with you at the end, just like any quiz. It wouldn't be competing for any prizes, but it could be a little bit of fun for you to do. So just let me know. There were sort of cross-stitch industry questions. There were London questions. There were royals questions, not just British royals, royals in general questions. And there was like a general trivia questions. So there were 4 parts of 4 4 parts in 5 questions each. And there were some bonus points to be won. That's why there was 24 points to be won maximum. So let me know in the comments below. At 2:30 p.m. it was a smalls exchange. There was an amazing variety of incredible projects in there. But what I will need to work a little bit on a smalls exchange to perfect it until next year, and some people from Stitch in London will also be taking part in Christmas exchange, which I will be organizing. I will be sending an email shortly. So I fully acknowledge that I need to work on the system of the smalls exchange. So there will be we will do some sort of a random number generator or something like that, so that you know, people have people sort of come one after another and choose their smalls exchange. And there will also be a sort of a minimum requirements for the finish published, which I sort of underestimated. I didn't think, I thought people would go over the top, if anything. From what I have seen, some people have gone into incredible lengths, like there were some incredible projects submitted, but I also saw you know, maybe a finish that wasn't as you know, elaborate, or maybe not sort of middle of the road. So we will be publishing minimum requirements for smalls exchange next year. And obviously next year we are going to I already know the dates, so next year I'm going to talk about it in a little bit later, but we are going to all have a lot more time to stitch anything, and to dedicate the time to finishing it, just in case people want to participate, because it's completely voluntary. And the minimum requirement will be to add at least 2 other products onto the stitching. So 2 products could be a backing fabric and a stuffing into a pillow. It could be a you know, a board and a frame. It could be a hoop and a backing cardboard or a felt. You know, so there should be I think it's only fair to say there should be like at least 2 other products added onto the item, so that it can be considered to be an FFO. And that's what we're going to concentrate on next year. And I am sure that it's going to be, you know, even better than this year, and this year was already absolutely amazing. At 3:30 p.m. we had destash table open, so anybody who wanted to destash but didn't quite want to you know, put it on the freebie table, had an opportunity to put a price on their destash items. So we did have quite a few people who have brought a destash, and there were some amazing bargains to be made. And at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday we had the quiz results announcement, the winners, the raffle was drawn, and the participant number was drawn. Now, as for the raffle, so let me just talk about it a little bit. So we've had a raffle table with, I don't know, maybe 16 different types of products. It was more than 16 products, but it was different types of products. And each of them had a glass next to it. Everybody, each participant got like a raffle packet. And in that raffle packet, you had 6 numbers in 2 prints. And you were to hold on to that one print of the number, and the other number you would put into the glass. So you had, for example, twice number 106, right? So you would hold on to 106, and you would put 106 into a Blackbird Designs raffle, so that if I drew 106, then you would know that this was your number. So everybody could choose up to 6 different areas of the raffle they wanted to enter to, because not everybody enjoys every design. So I wanted to give everybody a chance to win what they would like to win, what they are really interested in winning. You could either throw all 6 in one glass if you were really, really interested in winning that, or you would throw, 6 different, into 6 different glasses, completely up to you. The prizes on the table, some of them were from the vendors, some of them were from our lovely designers, the Koso Dry Stitchery and the Crow's Feet Stitching. Some of them, and a lot of them, were from Fat Quarter Shop, and I hereby would like to give the absolutely biggest shout out to Lolly at Lollypop Stitches. If you don't know her, please go to her Flosstube channel. She's amazing. She's a stitcher and a quilter, and she has reached out to me, and she said unfortunately she can't make it to the retreat, so she had to cancel her attendance, but she would like to send me some freebies from Fat Quarter Stitch, what she's been given by Fat Quarter Stitch, so she'd like to sort of send it forward. And I was like, yeah, that sounds amazing, thank you so much, thinking it's going to be 5-6 items maybe, and I would be so grateful for it. Don't get me wrong, I would be so grateful for it. But what came was this massive box, and I was like, what did I, what is this? Did I order something, or what is that? And it was a few days before the retreat. It was relatively close to the retreat, and I was so exhausted. It was at the point when I was working midnights, and I was so stressed, and it was quite quite the downs before the ups at the actual retreat. And I opened this package, and it was just full of, there was, I don't know, there must have been 50 different prizes, like 50 different things. It was I started crying. I completely started crying. I lost it. I burst into tears. It was so amazing. I am so grateful to Lolly. Thank you so much, Lolly. I've said it at the retreat, but I want to say to everybody that, a lot of the raffle retreats have been, raffle prizes have been due to the kindness of Lolly, who has provided all of the Fat Quarter Shop items that have been at the raffle table or won at the quiz, or won at the participant number draw. It was just amazing. And we're talking quilting books, we're talking a pattern holder, the Lori Holt one, we're talking like an ergonomic sort of pillowy pattern holder, we're talking quilting patterns, cross-stitch patterns small, cross-stitch patterns large, Christmassy, spring, all sorts. We're talking full kits in project bags from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. It's it's like a subscription, I suppose. We're talking large project bags by, what did I say? No, Fat Quarter Shop. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up. Fat Quarter Shop. We're talking large project bags by Fat Quarter Shop, without anything in them, but you know, large project bags. They were absolutely wonderful, and it was just breathtaking the amount of things she has really sent through. It was wonderful. And she's also sent through a Baker's Wife from Mirabilia, including the embellishment pack that was a gift from her, and to the attendants of the retreat. And there were also a number of needle minders that she used to carry in her Etsy shop, and my understanding is she doesn't anymore. But they were wonderful. I know that Lolly has got a designer shop, so I'm going to link to her link tree below so that you can maybe follow her or check her out. She is absolutely incredibly kind. I have no other words. She's incredibly kind, and I'm going to have to figure out a really, really good way of saying thank you to her, because this is just, you know, absolutely amazing. So much appreciated. Thank you so much, Lolly. Then we had the vendors that I have mentioned have all provided the items that I've already spoken about. We also have had the lovely Sophie. We also had the lovely Sophie from Sophie Crafts provide 2 of her kits for free for the attendees at the retreat. Sophie has a very like cutesy, so it was like a dino and like a unicorn design. I'm going to put them here. So I'm going to link to her website, and she also has a subscription box available. She's got all sorts of like lovely things in her shop. I think also thread conditioners, and I think some needle minders, and just you know, beautiful things. So go check her out if that is the design that speaks to you. Then there was also a section that was purchased by me within the retreat budget. So there were 6 Blackbird Designs books. I will show some of them in my haul, because obviously some of them had to, you know, sort of you know, make their way into the cart in 2 copies. I couldn't resist. Then there were 2 Little Dove Designs charts. Then it was a Charlotte by Mirabilia, including the embellishment pack. There was a Poppy from Liz Matthews. It was her latest expo release. I thought it was amazing. And there was a range of Dimensions kits. So it was the Kiss from a Snowman and the White Wolf, and I think about 10 Christmas ornaments, I think. And so there were many prizes, and the chances that somebody would win something were relatively high. And there were 3 ways to win something. So there was the raffle, as I said, with the tickets, where everybody would choose what they would want. Then there was a participant number. So everybody was numbered from 1 to 55, and then all those numbers went into a raffle, and they were drawn, so everybody could, you know, be drawn just once, the number. And there was a number of prizes that were of a more neutral character. So they were not necessarily charts, because you can't choose a chart that you randomly win, but they were more like the project bags and some of the cotton and clay items, and fabrics, and, you know, more of a stitching supplies rather than charts. The raffle was very heavily focused on charts so that everybody could choose what they wish to win to stitch. And then there was the quiz, and quiz had 8 prizes assigned to the first 8 people that came up with the top results. Many people have won, some didn't. Some didn't, and to those I have already said it at the retreat. I completely know how you feel. Like I said, my last quiz personal best was 2.5 points out of, I think, 20. And I have the unluckiest hand. I'm literally the most jinxed person in the whole world. So to the people who could not make it to the retreat, who had to cancel last minute, and I was the one who threw in their raffle tickets and they didn't win anything, I am terribly sorry, but I swear I am just jinxed. I suppose it means I'm so lucky in my life. I feel very lucky in my life that I don't need any more luck in winning anything. I don't know. That's at least what, you know, I say to myself. Unfortunately, it rubs off on other people. I'm really sorry about that. But I think we all went away as winners, because we won so many new friendships, and you know, there was so much fun and so many just new relationships created and new opportunities. New opportunities for new designers, or you know, some people maybe got courage, some people got validation of their work. They could see that their work means something, which is sometimes difficult to you know, feel when you're sitting somewhere at home behind a laptop and you are maybe designing something and you don't really feel that. But when somebody loves your work and, you know, buys your work or speaks about your work lovely, or you know, maybe they stitch your work right next to you, I think that's huge. So there were many many amazing experiences that we are all going to take with us. And I'm sorry, but you might hear a little bit of barking. As I mentioned, there were some people who couldn't make it to the retreat, most of them for health reasons, some of them for personal reasons. And there are some that, you know, somebody else took the retreat pack for them and entered into the raffle for them, and they actually won something. That just proves my unlucky hand. But there are a couple to whom I will be sending their retreat pack. And because they were jinxed because of me, I have decided to include a couple of things. Some of the raffle prizes arrived after after the retreat. I came home from the retreat and I've had these kits waiting for me at home. They were probably caught up in the postal strikes, which did not make the matters easier just before the retreat, let's just say that. But I do have a couple of things that I will be including. There, and Lauren at Stitchy Bunny shop has very kindly donated £10 vouchers for her shop, so I will be randomly assigning those to the people that I'm sending something to. So there is a little bit more sort of kindness to be spread around, even for those who could not have the wonderful experience of being at the retreat, being there with us and just experiencing it. And I hope that you will be able to come next year. We also had freebie table at the retreat, and there was a donation box. We were collecting monies for the cancer research charity. If you have watched me before, you know that I have been really quite touched by the story of Deborah James, the bowel cancer sort of girl. She has recently passed away, and there was a massive campaign that was, that happened before she passed away and after she passed away. And I thought it would be a lovely thing to include a charity box in our retreat, and people are so amazingly generous. We have collected £190 10 pence. I have deposited the monies to the charity donation page. I believed that I was getting a fundraiser pack, with that sort of money box and leaflets. Instead, apparently, I created a website, which, is the way of today, I guess. So we didn't have a money box. We had to improvise with that. I'm very grateful that you trusted me with that. But we do have a website, so if anybody who was at the retreat maybe didn't have cash or would like to donate anything, completely up to you. I have included the donation link below, and you can go ahead and donate if that is something that you would like to do. And if that is, thank you so much. And to everybody who has donated, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for doing this. We also had a brag table throughout the event. Brag table was ever changing. It was different on Monday morning, on Friday morning, it was different on Friday afternoon. It was a different story on Saturday morning, and completely different story on Saturday evening. And on Sunday there were some amazing things that Ludmila, who was taking part in the retreat, she brought, and it was just amazing. I will insert a video that I have taken on Saturday morning. There are things that I have not captured, I'm really sorry, but they were just, I just couldn't, and they were, by the time I had time in the evening, they were gone. Some of them because people were leaving and coming and whatever you. So I do not have the full representation of the brag table, but it was something to remember. It was amazing. And on that Sunday, when I was so full of the wonderful retreat buzz and just so full of gratitude, Ludmila has brought just amazing projects, and I couldn't even speak. I was overcome with emotion, and she was so humble. She was I think she was at the point of being uncomfortable because everybody was there and everybody was admiring her work. Like, there were such big projects, so incredibly well executed. It was Mirabilia, it was Teresa Kogut, it was this African lady, it was a huge project. It was a Ukrainian sample. Ludmila is Ukrainian. It was just so much work and dedication and talent, and she was so humble. She really has moved me completely. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to Ludmila, and thank you to everybody who has brought their work to show the beautiful cross stitching. Actually, in the morning, before people, we were open since 7 a.m. and people weren't there yet. Usually they would start coming in at 8, so we had the morning to rearrange the brag table and to clean up a little bit and to rearrange things a bit. And the staff came in from the hotel, and they were like coming one after another, just looking, and they were admiring the brag table. And I felt it was so amazing because we are spreading the word of cross stitch, the beautiful creations you can create with cross stitch. And I felt like it was just sending cross stitch into the wider world even more. And it was just one of the beautiful moments of the retreat, one of many. This is Hello from Liz Matthews, first day for Christmas, stitched by Jenny. Owl Forest embroidery. by Natalia, Crafting with Natalia. Heartstring Samplery by Carol Hughes. Oh, it's beautiful. Blackbird Designs. Pink House by Carol Hughes as well. This is the marvel of the retreat, honestly. Well, there are many marvels, but this is by Christina Klingerhofer. And it's the Jane Greenough book. Oh. Look. All the specialty stitches. It's beautiful. My hands are clean. I've just showered. It's early morning, nobody's here yet. It's about to begin. This is also by Christina. These are, of course, the one and only Blackbird Designs Garden Club series. This is the Little Dove Cross Stitch Christmas Magic. This is the Essay Stitch, Svetlana Sichka, Ukrainian designer, Poppy Lighthouse. This is Jury Jones by Annette Waterhouse. This is Caterpillar Cross Stitch Spray. We've got, this must be Jardin Privé then. It's all written in one. Blackbird is this. Jardin Privé must be that. This is the Gnomes in Garden by Little Dove Cross Stitch, UK designer. And these are obviously the wonderful Blackbird designs from Home for the Holidays. At least this one. I'm not sure if that one as well. This is Carol Hughes. She wasn't sure who the designer was because it's 40 years old. There we go. This is by Jenny as well. This is by Christina Klingerhofer as well. And this is stitched by Penny Richardson, Lizzie Kate. Beautiful. This is our Ross Clark craft. Ross is a designer and she comes up with the most wonderful things in the world. So this is like a Pringles can made into like a notions drum. It's beautiful. Another beautiful piece by Amanda Gregory. Beautifully done. Fuzzy Fox Designs by Annette Waterhouse as well. This is a beautiful piece by With Thy Needle and Thread by Susan Hogan. The Blue Crab Stitcher. I hear that her Flosstube is coming soon. Susan, don't keep us waiting. Start that Flosstube. I will watch. Many of us will. This is Soda Stitch by Anne-Marie Flowers. Susan Penny, Poinsettia Biscornu. Stacey Nash, beautiful. Look at that. Look at this guy. Isn't he awesome? Joan Elliott. I thought it was Jane Greenough. It's very much that style. Isn't it beautifully finished? Look. Wow, and it's so, yeah, it's wonderful. This is Ross Clark Craft, the Stitch in London 2022 freebie. Beautiful. I will stitch it after the retreat. And this is Joan Elliott, Sleeping Beauty. Isn't she gorgeous? And finally, we've got a little room in the attic. Watercolor Heart. This is by Natalia, Crafting with Natalia. And this is yet another by the amazing Christina. It's Dimensions, Wreath of All Seasons. So these are all the amazing things we've got here, guys. And I am sure there's bound to be more today. On Sunday, it was literally just stitching. Everybody was feeling a little bit tired, I think, and it was just such a lovely, everybody was so relaxed though. Everybody knew everybody at that point. You know, it was just a lovely, lovely, amazing atmosphere. And even I got to do stitching. That was just amazing. And people started sort of leaving midday-ish, but there were people who stayed until the very last, you know, until 4 p.m, which was perfect. It was until 4 p.m. And it was just wonderful. I don't have any other words than to say that it was a wonderful experience all around. If you have a chance to go to a retreat, please do, because it is just almost indescribable. It's like a summer camp, the one that you remember for a very long time, because you met so many amazing kids and nobody was nasty, and it was just the loveliest experience ever, and you remember it for you know, for a long time to come. It was something like that, but in an adult cross-stitch version. Everybody was lovely. I don't know how else to say it. Everybody was amazing, and there were some friendships made that I'm sure will continue thriving outside of the retreat. And I am just, like I said, terribly, terribly grateful to everybody who has decided to be there and who has created Stitch in London, and will forever be the founding member of the Stitch in London retreat. Now, as for next year, there will be next year for sure. There is no way I'm not seeing these guys, at least some of them hopefully, next year again. And I'm sure that many people feel the same way. So there's definitely going to be next year. I have already penciled down dates. They will be 20th, 21st and 22nd of October 2023. I am not taking reservations yet or sign up. These days are not available for sign up yet because the hotel themselves could not quote me with a pricing yet. So I do have to excuse the household noises if you can hear any. As and when I am quoted the price, and therefore I know what ticket price you know, will be, whether it's the same as this year or whether it's, you know, if they quote me something drastically different, then, you know, I will just have to see. So I have penciled down the dates, but I cannot promise the venue or the price at this very minute until I am quoted by the Holiday Inn. I know there is a hotel availability at those dates. They are provisionally, you know, the reservation has been made, but until I have been quoted the pricing, I cannot confirm it yet, and I cannot take reservations, or I cannot open the waiting list or registration list or whatever you. So that's where we are at the moment. I wanted to just say it very transparently so that you know what's happening. Once that becomes available to me, the way it will work is that I will give an opportunity to the founding members to sign up first, and afterwards I am going to open the registration list to the wide public. I am going to figure out a way how to set up a mailing list, so like a newsletter for Stitch in London, so people who are not the founding members will have the opportunity to be notified via email about when does the registration list opens up, which I think is a fair way of doing this. There will be 71 places at the retreat. 55 people are the founding members, and I know already that not everybody will be able to make it next year. So don't have the feeling like it's basically already gone. You know, it is not by any shape or form. But at the same time, the founding members, like I said, they are the ones who made this happen. They are the ones thanks to whom we are talking about next year's Stitch in London. So I really did want to give everybody who made it happen the chance of a priority sign up to secure their place should they wish to attend. And then the remaining places, of which there are going to be at least 20 plus, I would say probably half of the places are going to be available for sign up to people who have not been there this year. Once I'm ready to do so, I will give everybody plenty of notice so that you don't miss out should you be interested in coming. And so I will try to sort of give everybody a lot of time, which is the luxury we have now that we know the dates sort of year in advance. I would just like to address that it was extremely difficult to find a date that would suit everybody, as I'm sure you can imagine. So if these dates are difficult for some of the people, I really do apologize, but I've had to take a couple of things to consideration. There is a Great British Sampler Weekend, which is the weekend of sort of 30th of September, 1st of October. Which makes it difficult for me to be closer to that weekend, because there are some people who would wish to attend Stitch in London next year, but they are also attending the Great British Sampler Weekend, and they are the founding members. So I wanted to be sort of sufficiently far away from the Sampler Weekend by Hands Across the Sea samplers. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. A wonderful retreat, I'm sure. I couldn't have gone the other way around towards September, beginning of September, because that would have been summer holidays, school holidays still in the UK, which means most of the people with kids are away abroad, and it wouldn't have been, we take holidays beginning of September as well, so you know, it wouldn't have worked that way. So it had to be October, and also it had to be sort of midway between the Great British Sample Weekend and Floss Friends UK. Sammy Sharp and I have been in touch a lot about our retreats. This year we have announced the dates sort of independently on each other, not knowing that we would be so close to one another. It's quite lucky that we didn't have it at on the same weekend, to be quite honest with you. So we have agreed that we are going to be a little bit further away from one another, and I am going to be attending the November weekend, 17th or something, around 17th of November next year. So you know, those were the dates that I had to consider. I know that end of October there will be some half terms, but it's really difficult with half term because Welsh half term is different, English half term is different. I'm sure probably that Scottish or Northern Irish half term is different. So it's really terribly difficult to find somewhere where it would fit everybody. So I just hope that the dates announced have not caused much disappointment to anybody, and I keep my fingers crossed that we are going to have as an amazing retreat, I'm sure we will, as it was this year, and organizationally it can only go up from there. I have got a lot of learnings, a lot of points that will be better next year, and I promise I will work on them, although everybody has been extremely kind in their feedback. I gave everybody a feedback form and people have been incredibly generous in sharing not only their generous praise, but also great suggestions on improvement next year, which, you know, I have made very clear that that is something that I really, really appreciate, because nobody is perfect, nobody knows everything the first time around. I'm sure I've made a gazillion mistakes, and then some, and you know, that I don't have to see because I'm so much in tunnel vision about it. You know, when you're in it, you can't see left or right. So I was very grateful to those who have included suggestions, and I will definitely work on incorporating those as much as I can, or as much as practically possible. So that was the recap of the retreat as it happened. Unfortunately, it's, you know, we've sort of ran out of time. So I will be releasing another episode where I'm going to show you all the amazing things that I've acquired there, my stitching, my whole leading up to the retreat. I'm going to share with you everything, but it is not going to be quite today because I don't want to keep you anymore, and also my voice, etc., is giving in a bit. So thank you so much for being here with me, for spending time with me, for listening about Stitch in London, for being interested in the retreat at all, and for those who attended the retreat and who came. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much from the bottom of my stitching obsessed heart. You did it, and you were amazing, and I can't wait to see you next year. And hereby my Flosstube hiatus is over. I am looking forward to speaking to you in a few days' time with all the stitchy goodies, and until then, I wish you a lovely week and happy stitching. See you later.